is Cody Hansen, and today I'm going to talk to you about Google Drive and using Google Drive in your classrooms with your students. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to be using two internet browsers. Google Chrome will be logged in as me, the teacher, here at Southwest Christian, and Safari will be logged in as me, the student. This is Safari. I'm logged in as my personal Gmail account, not my school account. So I'm going to be using these two internet browsers to showcase this. The first thing you need to do is get logged into your Drive as the teacher. And as you can see here in my Google Drive, I've got several different classes already established. I'm not going to use any of these classes today. I'm going to create a new one just to kind of walk everybody through the whole process. Some of you may be very well aware of all these things, and this is just nothing more than a recap, but hopefully you will be able to pick up on a few things. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a folder. This is, again, my classes. I'm going to call this example. I teach tech, a few different tech classes, so I'm going to be naming a few things, kind of what I call them, just so that I can make sure that I stay organized to better help you guys. So this is my example class. And inside my example class, I'm going to open it up. Inside my example class, I'm going to create a few folders. I'm going to hit this little plus folder, and it's going to create, maybe I teach a first period tech class. I also teach maybe a fourth period tech class. Create. Perfect. I'm also going to create a folder that I call student handouts. That folder right there is super important because this folder I'm going to share with my classes. Now for you guys, you may have a few different student handouts folders. Student handouts first period, student handouts fourth period. Name it however you like to maintain your organization. I just call it student handouts because in my classes, my first period and fourth period are the same class, just two different sections of it. But again, you can name this and share this however you like. So what I'm going to do now that I've got my classes established, I'm going to share it. I'm going to right click on it and share this folder. I'm going to share it with my students, and I told you a while ago that I'm using my personal account, Coach H33, there it is, and I do not want to allow my students to edit all the items that I put in here. So I'm going to give them viewing rights only, not editing rights. They're going to be notified that via email that they got something. Save and share. And yes, that's fine, no problem. Done. So I've got a few different classes set up. My first period tech, fourth period tech. I've also got this student handouts folder, and everything inside this folder will be shared to all the students that I invited. For this tutorial, I invited one student, which is myself. So I'm going to go over to me as a student. First thing I need to do is get set up. I'm going to create a folder, and I am in let's go first period tech. There we go. Inside my first period tech folder, me as a student, I think it's a good idea to have a few different folders. First thing I think students should have is a completed work folder. I also have all my students create a folder called work in progress, homework, whatever you want to call it. This work in progress folder serves one purpose, and that is when they're starting something in class and they don't finish it, they can throw it in this folder and they can access it at their house. This is super important if they're using programs other than Google programs. Obviously, if they're using Google programs, Google Doc, Google Presentation, whatever, then they can access that anywhere. But the first quarter we used a lot of Microsoft Word and Microsoft PowerPoint, and my students may or may not have had the exact things that they needed at their house. So we shared it in here so they can still have access to what they did at school. So completed work folder is really important because once a student has an assignment finished, I have them name it properly and then put it in this folder. So this completed work folder needs to be shared with the teacher. So I'm going to right click on it, share, and I'm going to share it with the teacher of this class, Cody.Hansen, there he is. I am going to allow my teacher to edit. That way they can revise or make comments or whatever they need to do. And save and share. Done. All right. So I'm going to go back to my drive as a teacher. My drive, shared with me. And here is a completed work for Cody Hansen. I know he is in first period tech. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move his completed work folder to my first period tech. So I've got completed work for Cody Hansen, my student. And I will have completed work folders for all of my students here in my first period tech class. Obviously for this tutorial I've only got one student. But you will have completed work folders for all of your students in first period, all your students in fourth period, or whatever classes you teach. And again, this is my student handouts. So I know my student handouts is shared. I know it's shared with my students. It says so right there. And I'm going to create a document for one of my students, create a homework assignment. So let's create a document, create and share, no problem. Loading up. And the document that I'm going to create is something real simple. Maybe it's the beginning of the quarter, and let's just kind of assess what they know. So this will be called Basic Tech Knowledge. There we go. All right. Question 1. Maybe give them some directions. Answer the following questions to the best of your ability. Do not leave any blank. No problem. Number 1. What program would you use to create a visual presentation? All right, number 2, what program would you use as a processor? All right, let's give them some space to be able to answer that. And I already know it's shared, and I already know that all changes have been saved automatically and everything is good to go. So I'm going to go back to my drive. Here's my example class. There's my first and fourth period tech classes. There's my student handouts, and there is the paper that I just now finished up. So now, log in as a student. Here's my drive. I go to my first period tech class. Let me rephrase that. I go to my drive and I go to shared with me. There we go. Shared with me. And here is that document that was shared with me, or that folder, student handouts. I'm going to move that student handouts folder into my first period tech just so I can keep everything organized. So now in my first period tech class, I've got my work in progress, my completed work, and student handouts. You will notice that the student handouts is bold. That tells me that something recently has been put in there or added. So I open it up, and there is the homework that I need to finish or complete or do. So I go to it, basic tech knowledge, and I'm trying to type on this, but it will not let me because the teacher has it as a view only. I can't do anything to it. So the first thing I have to do once I get to it is file, make a copy for myself. This is really important for you as a teacher. The naming conventions. Cody. I do it like this, Hansen, comma Cody, and then the name of the assignment, and then I also put what class period I'm in. That way everything stays organized. I know whose it is, I know where they, what it is and where they come from. All right, and so it will load up a copy of, there it is, basic tech knowledge. So now I'm going to answer these questions real quick. Let's see. Visual presentation. That's going to be, let's go Microsoft PowerPoint. And for this one, let's go Microsoft Excel. And all changes are saved. Go to my drive. I'm done with that assignment. So what I need to do is I need to take this assignment, Hansen Cody Basic Tech Knowledge first period. I need to move it into my first period tech class. and I need to move it into my completed work folder. Now it's in my completed work folder, which means it's also in my teacher's folder. So I'm going to minimize me as a student. I'm going to go to my teacher account. Here's my example folder. I know first period tech, completed work Cody Hansen. It's bolded, so something's in there. And here is his assignment. So I'm going to load up his assignment and I'm going to grade it. So Hansen Cody, Basic Technology, first period. Here's all of his answers. I notice, let's see, visual presentation. Okay, so he's pretty good here. I'm going to add a few things. I'm going to change colors, maybe green or something. Nice start. That should have went green. Sorry about that. There we go. And I'm down here to question number 2. And he is incorrect on this. So I'm going to give him a quick little note. Although Excel is a program that can be used to type documents, Microsoft Word or Microsoft Word would be better. All right. This is saving. All changes are saved. I already know it's shared. Everything's good to go. So I will go back to my drive. And I'm going to go to my student account. First period tech. There I go. Completed work. There's this. And here is my teacher's recommendations, or the grading or the comments, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to call it. So everything is going back and forth nicely. I was able to share a document or an activity, an assignment with a student. My student was able to make a copy of it, complete it, put it back to the teacher. The teacher was able to access it, make a few corrections, and send it back to the student. And everything is staying pretty organized for me. That is a super beneficial program for me as a teacher and as a student to maintain organization and to just have a great, easy kind of workflow for the classroom. Obviously, there is a lot more you can do with it in terms of creating multiple types of assignments, presentations, Excel or spreadsheet type documents. You're also able to grade and comment on just about anything that the student does or that you do, assuming you have editable rights. We're going to go into more detail on this in person. If you have any questions, please let me know. Have a great day.